He started shouting, "Why are you following me, you fucking slag?" He repeatedly tried to get me on the floor, got me round the neck, screaming, shouting very aggressively.
It's July last summer and Emma Homer is walking home after an evening out with friends when a drunk man she has never met approaches Emma and violently assaults her. Emma later discovers that that man is 25-year-old PC Oliver Banfield, an off-duty police officer.
I had to investigate myself, really, and then it turns out that with a little bit of digging, I found out that there was a police officer called Ollie that lived in the corner a few yards from my house, and who else could it have been, you know?
Were you shocked to learn that the man who attacked you was a police officer?
That was the scariest thing, because that's how it's really affected me in terms of my family and my mental health, really.
Tonight we can reveal Warwickshire police were, by their own admission, slow to act. That changed when this distressing CCTV footage of the attack was by chance captured by a neighbour. You can hear the officer using techniques he learnt in police training.
It's an assault right there, on the floor now, on the floor now, on the floor now. You push your face, that is an assault.
It follows a week when the conduct of police officers is under intense scrutiny in the UK. And this has had a big impact on your family.
Yeah, that was really heartbreaking. When my oldest would ask if there's a police car around, you know, the village or around our road, "Mummy, is that him? Was that him?" You know, and that's like, I need to reassure them that they're not all like that.
Today, PC Banfield arrived for sentencing. He initially accused Emma of attacking him, but pled guilty after an investigation. He continued to work for West Midlands Police, albeit on restricted duty. In court, PC Banfield was ordered to pay £500 in compensation and sentenced to a 14-week nighttime curfew. He'll have an electronic tag fitted. As his solicitor said, he was sincerely sorry for what had happened. Outside, PC Banfield was less forthcoming.
You've had a bit of time to reflect now. Do you regret what happened? Do you think this is the conduct of a police officer? To attack a woman on her way home? Will you be standing down as a police officer?
I've lived here all my life, and you know, I've never felt scared until obviously this has happened.
The attack happened just yards from Emma's front door in the Warwickshire village she grew up in.
It was almost like he was like pretending to be like in a cop film, you know. It was really like, and they, you know, on the phone calling for backup, and you know, had me around the neck, you know, all the stuff that, you know, how an officer would arrest somebody, but over the top, like, you know, like he was in a film.
Emma says it has been an uphill battle to get justice, and it was only down to the perseverance of her family that she did. Made all the more upsetting by a series of delays. It took over 30 hours for the police to take a phone statement, over a week before she saw a police officer face to face, and 8 weeks for officers to visit the scene, by which point Emma's family claim additional CCTV had been erased.
They haven't taken me seriously. From the minute I reported it, it was as if, you know, I was reporting a lost cat.
Today, in a statement, Warwickshire Police said,
"We recognise the strength of feeling that has come about as a result of Sarah Everard's tragic death and understand concerns relating to violence against women and girls nationally. In relation to this specific case, we acknowledge that due to internal process errors, the initial response to the report of the assault was not as swift as it should have been, and an apology has been issued with regards to this. How victims of crime are treated is of paramount importance to Warwickshire Police, and we remain committed to protecting the most vulnerable people in our communities."
Tonight, West Midlands Police told us PC Banfield has been suspended while an investigation takes place into allegations of gross misconduct.
On the floor now!
This shocking CCTV comes as the Centre for Women's Justice issued a super complaint against the police after 46 women contacted them who felt severely let down by the police service after they'd reported domestic abuse committed by police officers and staff. Emma too is deeply disappointed with what she feels is a too lenient sentence for a police officer whose job was to protect people.
I'm okay, but I'm not okay. It's just, I've never suffered with anxiety before. Never really understood it, to be honest. But until now, yes, it just yeah, it's messed with me quite a bit. So.
That report from Minnie Stevenson. So at a time when police conduct is under scrutiny, how many police officers are offenders themselves? Simple answer, we don't actually know exactly.
The Home Office and the National Police Chiefs Council don't publish statistics about officers convicted of crimes, but we can get some sense of the problem through other channels. Since 2017, the College of Policing has published an annual list of police officers dismissed for conduct or performance issues. And buried deep within the report, we see some very illuminating pieces of information. 31 police officers were dismissed for abuse of position for sexual purposes, 20 for assault, 12 for child sex offences, 11 for domestic abuse, and 17 officers dismissed for possession of indecent images. What we don't know is whether these dismissals led to criminal convictions in all these cases.